Welcome everybody to Coach's Corner. I'm Coach Lyndon. This is...
I'm Em.
I'm Amy.
Coach Debbie here.
He wants us to use the one he did earlier where he was like, what's corner, you know what I'm saying?
And I was clear. I was so clear and concise.
What's happened to you as well? Articulate.
What's happened? I don't know what that means.
All right, whatever.
Was that a
Like the sound, you've gotten muffled before.
I mean, you know, life happens.
It does.
I don't think I was
I'm doing this.
saying a cat.
We just introduced ourselves. Welcome to Coach's Corner, where we change people's relationships with food and fitness.
Is this how you assert yourself? You just repeat shit?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you change the camera off and then put it back on. Using functional training and holistic practices.
I'm asserting myself right now.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
I like that for you.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, continue.
I don't.
All right.
I don't like it. I don't like it. Waffle fries.
My name's Coach
What?
Lyndon. I don't like it.
Apparently that's been my MO lately. I don't like it.
No.
Yo.
I don't like the look of
Like and subscribe.
Yeah. If you like
You
it,
like this.
like,
if you
subscribe,
like
hit the
this.
notification button.
If you like arguing on camera.
Yeah. So you can be notified when the next
If you like
Coach's Corner is.
conflict.
When's the
Tune
next
in.
conflict? Like and subscribe.
So let's talk. Let's have some. Yeah, I'm taking full charge on this. All right. Right before y'all got here.
You know I have to give that to you, right? Like, I have to succeede that.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
Hey, if you don't say anything, then I took it willingly.
It was like a question without the question mark.
I almost
You
spit.
drooled on yourself.
Almost spit. I took it willingly.
Oh
That's
boy.
fair.
All right.
I wanted it willingly.
This is going really well so
Great.
far.
That was great.
I was talking with Carol, right? We were talking about the universe,
Interesting.
and we were talking about how sometimes the universe clears stuff off your plate to prepare you for what you were manifesting. And the way we were using it here was Carol was like, damn, I'm sad. We just had someone leave, tell us that they're not coming back. And she was like, I'm sad they're not coming back. And I was like, let's be honest, Carol. She was very cool. She was very fun. And she was also distracting you. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, because you came back here not to have fun, play with it. Like she was here before and then she left. And then went all over Rochester looking for something comparable and came back and said, we're the only ones, that are,
You guys are the best.
you guys are the only ones. Head down. I'm sorry.
I think that's an important part of that journey in a couple different ways. Like, Carol knows what they were experiencing when it happened, when we had the moment where it was an honest moment, and that's what you're here for. Like, everyone's here to face who they are currently and then become who they want to be, right? And then I think some people genuinely do forget that, right? And I'm glad that we have an environment where you feel comfortable and safe enough to where your comfort may have you feeling like it's easy to forget. But I don't like people forgetting and then making it someone else's problem, right? If you forget, that's fine, but we're here to remind you. As that happens, you get different reactions. Some of the reactions are very visceral, very negative. Some of the reactions are just affirming and positive. Both exist and are necessary on a journey of self-healing and discovery. So that was one of the biggest things. One of the biggest things for Carol in general was she actually explained to that person when they were experiencing their moment of like having to face themselves, right? And yes, my wording was part of that conversation, but a lot of it really was facing their own things. And when that came, Carol actually spoke on how she did the exact same thing and how upset she was that I held her accountable, right? She was like, I was just as upset. I understand. Now, I'm saying this on camera. Carol doesn't want me to say this, but I don't give shit. I say what I want. Carol actually paid for this person to stay here for an entire month. And they still decided, like, via their own things, they couldn't afford to be here anymore. And Carol literally was like, I would love to take care of that, and don't even tell her. And that's what we did. We offered her a free month of training, and the response was that. right? Like the response was, nah, I'm gonna go do it on my own, or no, I'm out of here. I don't think I'm gonna return. And I say this all the time. It's super important to me, right? Because, I'm trying to think of a way to say this lightly. I take no one who walks in my doors lightly, right? Like, I invest in every single person who tells me they want my help, right? Like, hands down, no question, I'm here for it. So when someone tells me that I'm doing a bad job, there's two things that happen. One, I have to realize, I have to look at if I'm doing a bad job, right? Like, I actually have to assess the thing that I'm trying to help them accomplish. Am I putting the steps in process to do that? The other part is, are they doing a bad job? So I have to look at me, and then I have to look at the situation, right? Most people get stuck on the me, right? The me becomes the epitoming thing, the thing that they want to close the chapter out on. But ironically, in any relationship, this is funny, this is a funny conversation. In any relationship that you come up to, you are never the whole problem or the whole solution. Never. In no way, shape, or form can you be, right? And it's important to know that. So when they decided to back out, again, if we look at the previous wording, they were never committed to the journey outside of their comfort.
That's what I said to Carol.
Yeah. Every part of the journey was about them being comfortable. No part of it was about uncomfort or change. It was all about, can I be comfortable and change? And there would be a lot of jokes about, like, using the diet, how there was a cheat day. And I would say things like, you don't have a meal plan. You can't cheat on a meal plan you don't have, right? Like, I never told you you had to eat a certain way. As a matter of fact, I was trying to get you through steps. It's important because if you're already cheating before you even have a plan, then what are you sticking to? And again, what am I holding you to where you feel like you need to cheat? It's something up here. And again, you got to realize that stuff, right? Because I have to realize that it is not on me. And ironically, if you have been in this space and you're watching this, this is the 20th, right? I'm marking it chronologically because I think a lot of people are experiencing very, very difficult change where self-assessment and reflectiveness is necessary, right? So, yeah, I know about the Carol situation, but even like me, like, I went home and I was supposed to only be gone for an hour, and Ashley turned it into 2, just moving slower, trying to find something else to do, just made it into something more. I could be very upset, or I could adapt. And it was funny because I promised to do this thing called the Love Dare, right? I'm doing it with Garth. So it's, you take a look at the person you love, anyone. It doesn't have to be a spouse, anyone. And you challenge yourself to love that person with rules for yourself. Today's rule is patience. No complaining. No complaining. You have no idea how hard that is until you attempt to not complain. I mean, at all, right? And then you realize all the moments you do criticize and the moments you do critique, and that's essential for growth, right? Like, to put something on yourself that allows for you to grow. Reason I'm bringing that up is because when people are challenged, change comes from you challenging yourself, right? If you don't challenge yourself, it doesn't matter how good I am or how good the program is or how great the staff are in a space. You'll never get what you want out of it because you refuse to challenge. You love your comfort so much you refuse to challenge yourself. So, no disrespect to anybody who loves their comfortable and happy lives, but at the same time, growth is never found there, right? So that's a huge part of like why we're all sitting here right now. If you're sitting at these coaches' corners, you have shown that you are dedicated to change and finding comfort in uncomfortable space. So that's why you're here. And again, I want to make sure that we talk about that type of stuff because I was also sad that this person left because I give a part of myself away to be with these people, right? And it's funny because you can tell what type of relationships they have by how lightly they take that. You get what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to hate on any specific person, but like the same thing happened with the previous person who left a couple months ago. It was very much so the same thing. It's like, no, I really care, right? But if you've never seen true care the way that I care, then you don't even know that it's care. And I could say it till I'm blue in the face. It's up to you to accept it. I know the self-worth plays into that, but also so does acceptance, right? So if you don't feel like you're worthy of something greater, then why challenge yourself? That's what I would ask the question of, right? Like that would be the thing that I see, and that's why Carol came back, and that's why anyone who's here, like your life changes. And I'm not taking that lightly or saying that lightly. Your life literally changes.
It really does.
Right? So
I'm over here training Ivy doing backwards pogos, and I'm just like, didn't you come in here hobbling?
her hip didn't work.
Didn't you come
It
in
didn't-
here
it
with,
didn't
with
work.
a bum ass leg and a bum ass hip?
She was 5 years could not walk on that leg
And now she's doing backwards pogos high too, getting above Margie. I was
because she's always had it. She's always
She's a dancer, yeah.
Yeah, she used to be a dancer. It was taken from her via the hip stuff.
and now it's back.
Yeah, and that was because she challenged herself. We were laughing about how she'll see a video and then she'll go home and like practice
Oh,
the
yeah,
video
your
just
video.
to challenge
Yeah.
herself. Like that, she does that with
She
any
said she
video
watched it
we
90
send.
times. She already knows the choreo.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my
even
God.
more so to the point, and I like, again, I know you don't want no recognition, but I gotta recognize him. Like looking at what Junior did yesterday, or did not yesterday, the day before yesterday.
Yeah.
He literally saved a family from a flipped over vehicle. Like that's what it's about, right? And I was so hyped this morning. I said I'm gonna train with him just to make sure he knows that that's why I do what I do, right? So for every person who leaves, I get an affirmation from like 2 or 3 that it's the right move. It feels terrible when they leave, but it also feels like it's just an opening for a new chapter. Again, the faith of the mustard seed moves a mountain. I don't have to necessarily be in the best position and best space to get the change I'm looking for. I just need to believe that it's possible, even just a small amount. And that's when things really start to open up. Amy's class is a good testament to that, right? The faith that I'm gonna step out and do it. Not, there's gonna be 20 people, just literally the faith of doing the thing has turned into people already coming in and responding. Faith is necessary, dog, like in what it is. So
Rhythm and House, Tuesday, Thursday at 6 p.m.
It is really good.
It's a fun time.
It is mad fun. Yeah. And it's packed, so get your spot.
Nope.
Nope.
Yep.
I wanted to, I don't know about y'all if y'all want to say something, but I got something. I always got something to say.
Say it then.
I lost it.
Oh, wow.
I got it. No,
That was
I got
quick.
it.
You worked
That was
too
quick.
much.
Listen, all right, I got it. So you were talking about change
yo.
and like dedication to change and the commitment required for change. I think I made this connection yesterday about a few videos that I showed you. It was talking about the difference between, or not the difference, but what practice actually looks like in practice. And it's like, because you could, whatever it is that you like to do, whatever skill you're trying to hone, like doing it is fine, but that'll only get you so far. There's a certain intentionality to practice where you look at your weaknesses and you like put constraints around yourself so that you're focusing just on that weakness and you're able to like see progress in that weakness because you've put these contrived constraints around yourself. I think that's what you were talking about just now, in like being prepared to do the hard thing and making the commitment to the thing. Practice on top of like over time is time under tension, and then when you go to do the thing, whatever it is that you've been practicing, the skill just comes up.
Yeah.
And
if you had more to say, I don't want to cut you off.
nah, that's fine.
There was a video I sent out a while back to a couple people because a couple people asked me, like I got asked, it was like, how do you continue to do what you do, right? Like, how do you show up for people and still make time for your family? Like, it's got to be draining, it's got to be tiring, it's got to be so hard for you to do. Yeah, there's hard days, for sure. Today's a hard day.
Today was a hard day.
Today's a hard day. It's not done. It's not even close to done. Today's a hard day. And when it's a hard day, all the practice becomes the actual game. So a lot of people don't understand, like you'll see me, like if you've seen me work out, if you've ever watched me work out and something is challenging, you'll watch me doubt, fear, and then completely say, do it anyway. And if you watch me do that, you see what it takes to figure out how to just move forward. Not do it perfectly, not get it right all the way, but the intentionality of, I am afraid to admit, I am in fear, I am worried, I do have concern, but my fear doesn't have to stop me. That's an intentional thing. And then you'll see me go for it, right? And when people, I think, like I used to not train with you guys because, again, I can be like in a whole different headspace when I train. And when I'm in a whole different headspace, I'm doing what I'm doing so I can do what Junior did for somebody, right? Like that my intention is always to push the body to a point where I can show up for the people I care about and love. So when the moments come for me to show up, I've been practicing. The video was about samurais, right? And it was about how the samurai doesn't wake up one day and say, I'm a samurai. No, the samurai continues to practice the swings a day, the things that make you a samurai, the meditations, the practicing of the katas, the different things that involve, again, actually getting into calligraphy. Like a warrior is not just a warrior, they're a poet too. And realizing that that's what it takes. You live a life beyond to be a warrior. Like I'm telling you, I'm super excited about what Junior did. Like more than I think I'm going to share like on big social media shit and all that other stuff. I'm super excited about what he did because he embodies the principles, and that's all I want to do is give them away, right? Like to show up, to do that, and to ask for nothing in return because that's who you are. That's amazing, right?
Yeah.
So Junior shows he embodies the warrior spirit. I think a lot of people who come here, they do.
Yeah.
The people who want to be here, the people who show up every day and they're like, I don't even feel like being here. I'm like, great, let's get after it even harder today because you don't, right? And like, that's what unlocks something different. That's why you go forward. Like if you do that, you can tell who does that and who's not doing that, just even in training and how that benefits their life, right? Because you'll see that person growing and changing after pushing themselves. I'm uncomfortable, great, let's do it anyway. And then what happens? You realize discomfort ain't so bad. And all of a sudden, you start doing real uncomfortable things in your life, right? Training to me, that's why we don't call it class. That's why I don't call it that. That's why I don't say, we work out. Like I say training on purpose, right? And it's because it's for you to be a better version of yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm excited about, listen, there's so much going on, even though I'm sad about losing losing someone. There's so much happening to be grateful for. And yes, today's a hard day, once again, but it's a hard day, not because I gotta do it, because I get to. Like, that's my thing. I'm grateful for being in a space where people can depend on me like that. I will do whatever I can until I can no longer open my eyes and my time is gone to be there for the people that I care about.
And I like that you are saying that you're sad because I've had a few clients, even just this far since I started, either have to switch coaches or just leave. And like I think at first my attachment, my
You care.
Yeah,
You really care.
it's like I care, and then also there's something I needed to work out on top of that, where I'm like figuring out like, oh, I'm not taking it personally now. Like some people just need to leave or they need to take some space from the thing, and that's there to handle. But it does feel sad, like recognizing that, like, oh, we had someone in space, they contributed to the space, I gave of myself to them, and they're no longer around. I'm like,
Tell me who can't relate to that though.
yeah.
Like you give to someone, and then you're like, this person I'm giving to you because I see your potential. And then as you give to that person goes, this is nice, and then like throws it to the side and just says, yeah, I don't care, right? That hurts. Like there's no way around that not hurting. And it's funny. It's funny because I try not to lean on titles too much, right? But like I am a masculine black man who grew up in a way that I should be exactly what so many people are afraid of, right? But I learned that people were afraid of things that they don't understand. Shout outs to X-Men and Spider-Man. Those are the things that taught me, like, to literally look at, like, racism is just a construct that was created to keep us separated, right? It wasn't something that a lot of people wanted. But again, they drove us apart. We're at a point where we wouldn't even want to understand one another. So I made it my mission to understand people and to be myself while trying to understand people. If it rubs you the wrong way, I'm glad. Because if you are comfortable around me being who you're not, then I'm not doing a good job. Yes? So when someone is uncomfortable by me, I try to take it as a sign of great. Hopefully that brings, either it's going to push you away to where I can continue to move forward, or it'll push you closer to who you want to be.
Yeah.
And I always don't know how that looks, and I'm just very honest about that. I think that's what draws people to it. And again, I think, this sounds like kind of egotistical, but I think I define masculinity for a lot of people, right?
I mean, it's not egotistical. Definitely, yes, for me.
Yeah, it's like, well, and that's a burden in and of itself, man. Imagine like being the person, like, let's say I did something that didn't fit the mold and that changed completely how you feel. Like, it makes you feel like you have to be above peer a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying you guys put that on me. I see what it is, right? Like, I'm not saying someone came to me and was like, yeah, if you fuck this up, like, that's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that a lot of how you feel about the thing can be tied to what you know is the gravitas of the situation.
And I hear what you're saying there. I'm going to challenge that in saying that
Shoot.
Because you've defined a certain type of healthy masculinity for me, I think part of me stepping into my masculinity was like, or trepidatious in it was me being like, yo, I don't see how to do it healthily. I don't see how to do it in a way that fits me. And a big part of it is that you don't have to be above peer. I think me seeing you in
even the weak moments,
in moments where you fail, or in moments where you're weak, or in moments where you're low, in moments where you fuck up, I fucked up that interaction, and like maybe there's a consequence to it, but seeing how you deal with the consequence is like the full spectrum that I needed, trying to be perfect in masculinity isn't a thing.
Well, that's being perfect in masculinity is being vulnerable.
Yeah.
And ironically, when that perfection is a very hard space to stay in for so many people, because being vulnerable means everyone sees everything. And that is really hard to continue to do.
Yeah.
So when people are paying attention to your every move, whether they understand they are or not, you can be a hypocrite to one, you can be a savior to one, you could be a friend to another, you could be a brother to another. Like, you never know how people are viewing what you do. And if you're the person that gets distracted, then you'll miss it, right? So I don't look to like be perfect. I look to be vulnerable. That vulnerability, along with, again, showing up consistently, doing the things, has become what so many people have come to respect about me. And then you can see how that has affected you can tell in other areas, again, looking at my family, looking at my home, looking at how I carry myself, you can tell that it's not, he just does that when he's here, which is what so many people are like. I'm just so tired of people saying one thing and then walking out another, right? People have seen me with my son. I've brought my son in and spent time with him. And if you watch, sometimes I do get frustrated. Like, I get frustrated because people aren't doing what I know they should be doing. But I'm not hiding that. You get what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be like, it's fine. I'm like, no, it's really not. But at the same time, let's move forward.
Yeah.
I think that is what is important, right? When it comes to, and that is divine masculinity. Divine masculinity, it's like love. Love in and of itself is the only thing I've shown since I've come in these doors for every single person who's come here, right? And one of the first fruits that you really go to understand is that love is patient. So whenever I meet someone and they're just all judgmental and cutting people off, you lack love, genuinely. Especially as a man. If I see you short-fused as a man, Like can't nobody tell you nothing, can't nobody talk to you, you lack love, right? And again, taking the challenge of not saying anything, super slow today, so disruptive. LJ throwing stuff in an office. We trying to take care of stuff right in ESL. Like he's in the office throwing stuff inside. I'm watching how impatient she is. And I'm handling that, talking, setting things up, playing with the child, like while I'm supposed to be busy. And this is her day off. You understand what I'm saying? This isn't easy. I just do it, right? And focusing in the present allows for me to be grateful for the fact that I can do this and have my son versus not being able to spend time with him in his formative years. Again, it's a catch-22 for you, boy. I don't necessarily enjoy every single facet, but I'm damn sure grateful for every single facet. I don't know if most people understand the difference. Yeah. So, yeah, it's tough, right?
I feel like I'm sitting there right now.
Yeah,
Where
it's like oh, this just sucks. But at the same time, I don't think I'd change it, right? Like that's
my entire life.
I mean,
I always look
man.
back and I always ask people, I'm like, yo, if you could go back, would you change it? And I hear a lot of people say, yeah, I would change this, this, and this. I think that's like the natural response.
Well,
and
that's a life lived unauthentic. If you have to change things, then you're not being you.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
I feel like
and
I've
again,
lived-
fail or pass doesn't matter.
Yeah, I feel like I've lived like not very authentic, and I've never in my life have I been like, oh, I want to go back and change it, because maybe that was just faith in that everything happened
For a reason.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't believe in the good and bad like that. It's the tools and weapons.
Faith in and of itself is an extension of patience, though. Like that's
Yeah.
This is why, as a man, I can't love everyone equally, right? I cannot. I am not so magnanimous of a person that I can love everybody the exact same way. And when someone does not return my love, I have to let them go so I can love the next person, right? That's hard because we've talked about this, and I'm kind of talking about you like y'all not here. I apologize for this.
We're right here.
But at the
That's
same time, I'm talking about
Right.
like you here, but like not like they're here, right?
Okay.
Like it was what you struggled with when you first came in, right? Like allowing everyone access to you is not love, right? It's more of an act of selfishness, right? To restrict your access to the people, even, no matter how much they say they care, because if I love you enough, then I don't want you comfortable in unauthentic space, right? You say you want to be better, and every time we get together, you're complaining about the same things. Do I allow you to continue to complain, or do I tell you what I see and how it can change, and maybe how I can be helpful there, right? That type of love is missing in our current world. I mean, again, look around, right? There's kids getting celebrated for participating. That is trash. That is trash in so many ways to me. I see soft kids becoming softer, but they're more emotionally intelligent, which again, hate it, right? Because there's a mocking of the old school ways, right? In the old school ways, yes, there may have been some separation in things, but there was also a lot of connection that I don't see today. This is the most depressed, most anxious, most diagnosed I've ever seen the world. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that we're better emotionally.
But we aren't, actually.
I know.
Like,
just
we
have more
We're
really
better
aren't.
diagnosed. We're better diagnosed.
Well,
We have
that's
more
profitable.
words about it.
That's probably all of
Facts.
it.
For
Facts.
certain folks.
Yeah, I think
Facts.
it's the intellectualizing of the emotions instead of realizing
Which
what
isn't
emotions are for.
understanding. It's
Yeah.
deep understanding, right? I mean, and think about the people. This is why I'm saying it's selfish. If I only have 100% to give, and I want to love everyone at this table, but Ashley needs 40, who do I give to and how matters, right? Because now I can't treat you all the same. See, I can't give you all 40. No matter how magnanimous of a person or how amazing I am, I can't do it, right? Everybody 40 ain't 100%. I only got 100. So what do? I have to learn to give at different capacities, right? So maybe Ashley needs 40, and I give that 40, but I draw back and all you get 10, right? I still got 30 to give myself. A lot of times we don't even consider ourselves as our most important relationship. So imagine I give Ashley 40, and then I give you all 10, which is 30, and then I give I give 20 to LJ. That means I only give 10 to myself. How long do you think that lasts?
A season.
Maybe, because most people are not islands, even though they pretend to be. So it's creating a bigger narrative in general, where like self-love is true love, right? Like and again, love being patient. I can hold out for quite some time loving the people around me and being there for you, even if it doesn't feel good. And I don't even need to tell you it doesn't feel good. But at the same time, I expect this to feel good eventually.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that this has to end, and if you don't end it, I will end it for both of us, right? Like I have to be here for everybody that I love and care about.
Yeah.
It's selfish to not. You get what I'm saying? So again, you don't come out of your rut, and you keep drawing and asking for more. I can't do that long. Not and be honest and open with you. It just won't work.
Yeah.
Fair. So it's like one of those things. Again, I make space for people, but I'm also very honest about what that costs me, how it's sacrifice I'm making. And not to make you grateful, but I have to be honest with myself. I have to be honest with me first, then I can tell you, because I know. But even in that, again, like, I won't mention who this person is, but someone who is in great need, let's say today, right? And as they're in great need, I don't get to burden them with how I'm just here for them. No, I just show up, right? And I continue to show up, and I continue to be there, right? And I continue to be there, and I continue to be there. And again, they can say they don't know, they can say they're not sure. I continue to be there because I know that if I continue to be there based on the person, it's worth it, right? That's why I would do it. And I don't do it for those who aren't. Like, respectfully, the client we're talking about, if they ask me, I would be like, absolutely not, unless God told me to. Like, straight up, no, you do not mean that to me. You are not that important to me. I'm sorry, but that is not something I can give to you, right? And that's kind of what is happening with them leaving. Again, what they're asking for is grossly over the love that they've shown. They need time to figure that out. So their love is letting them go. Anything else?
Y'all want to add in?
I got so much to say about that. I
Yeah.
feel like I can't say
Uh,
anything at all.
Give a phrase.
Yeah, you mic'd up.
Give a phrase.
Yeah, you mic'd up.
Yeah, you
Mike.
can say
Yeah.
it.
There's a mic on you. Michael on you.
Gosh, I'm so wordy. It's hard to say things with a small amount of words. But I think what you were saying before, and like thinking about the people that leave, and like what I'm doing here and doing hard things. I feel like I had boot camp up until this moment in my life here. So for the last year, boot camp. And I was telling you how it feels here. Like we're all the people that stay and the people that really put themselves into themselves and into the space. I think we're creating this really beautiful like life workshop where you get to heal, you get to learn about yourself, you get stronger in every way possible. And the people that miss that are the people that leave, or the people who aren't ready for that are the people that leave. And it's also comes up if I'm trying to like describe the gym to someone, you know, like it's the gym, but it's not the gym.
No, it is pretty hard to describe this place.
Yeah.
Because you be
We
seeing
do
it,
workouts.
yeah, you be seeing it in people's
And
eyes.
cry.
And cry.
Yeah.
I see in
true.
people's eyes they like don't get it immediately, like,
Yeah.
or at least they put it in a box immediately. Where I'm like, oh yeah, it's my gym, and they're like, gym.
I don't think
And
I'm
like, wait a
describing
minute.
it at all. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
come in for class. Oh, you want to train?
Yeah,
Come on in.
it's the
I think you
gym.
gotta take. I don't think you can describe it. I think
No.
it's like, I don't know, dip your toe in.
I try to describe it.
See
I
what
say,
happened. Is it
Yeah.
hot? Is the water burn your toe? Damn.
Yep. And
I
it
said,
might, but
it's
do you
not your
stay?
mama's.
Do
Yeah.
you stay?
Do you want to
if-
know how? Do you
if
want to know how I
that
describe the
happens?
space?
Yeah.
Oh God.
I describe the space all the time. They're like, "Oh, you own a gym." I'm like, you know, I own a place that helps people transform. And they're
you
like,
go.
"Yeah," and they're like, "What's that mean?" That's when the conversation goes there.
Yeah.
It's like again, we do physical work, but even training functionally is different from your average gym.
Yeah.
full body movements. They're all
It's so different.
Yeah.
It's so different that it makes you like, you'll see people like literally stop at the windows and wonder
Yeah.
what we're doing.
What are you
Yeah.
doing in
right?
there?
Just because they're like
outside
they're
in the
like,
dark.
like
Yeah.
you were
yo.
you were like John sent me a video a while back that like some dude came in, he was like, man, I don't know what that is across the street. He was talking about the parking lot. He was like, but it's so different and I wanna like check it out. He took a video. It was a step class. I was in the front with the mic. I'm bouncing around. People are moving. People are like, what is happening in there, right? We got energy that you think you would see in a stadium or a concert, and people are just like, why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you guys so excited about? Are you working out? Why are you so excited? Like it's
Find
that.
out.
They don't know
Yeah.
about the energy.
Well, working out is different than most people equate it.
Well, like Planet Fitness. Like this is not Planet
Yeah.
Fitness.
Yeah.
So it's hard to. It
So
is
that's
really
when
hard
people
to.
ask me, I'm like,
describe.
yeah, we just
Yeah.
changed lives. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, literally. Physical fitness is something we do there, but that's
Yeah.
what we do. We change lives.
If we
That's
had
literally
time,
how I
yeah.
describe it.
That's an easy, short way to put it. We do
Yeah.
so much more. I mean, yeah, it
do
is.
so much.
It is changing lives, but
That's-
I'm like, when you really try to break it down, it's like you can't. Like we do some somatics work. We're
we
doing
change
like,
lives by
Yeah.
enter whatever that
But
person is
all
interested
the
in.
things.
Like
Yeah.
that's literally that's why I explain it that way. Well, what makes you why do you go to that space? Literally, my life is different because I'm there.
Yeah.
Right, and not even in a way, right? So when people ask me, they're like, change lives. Like, yeah, I just share what changed my life, and it seems to affect other people. That's it. Like that's
Yeah.
literally what I say all the time. So people are like, yeah, but you're like different though from like other gyms, right?
Yeah.
because people come in here and they change.
Because it's not. It's how I was saying. I was like, this is how our society should be, and we have this like microcosm of it.
Yeah.
Like people working towards authenticity, people honoring themselves, even if they don't know
And
that's what
honoring
they
others.
need yet.
Yeah. Accountability, I
And
think,
in
is a
so
huge
doing,
one that
accountability for
plays
sure.
into the space, like
Yeah.
open conflict,
That one.
resolution,
That one.
And
Yeah,
love
that's a
on
big
the
one.
way through it, like having
Yeah.
support.
Well, I think those are the parts of
open
love that-
conflict
Yeah.
and bravery
Yeah.
in conflict, like actual
Yeah.
bravery. You do not have to be
Yeah.
afraid of me, right? Like
Yo, bravery is a
Right.
hard
Right.
one. Like how many other spaces you heard talking about like cultivating bravery?
Yeah.
yeah, and that's all I do.
The gym.
Right? My favorite, unfavorite thing to do is to say, let's call a spade a spade. And if you hear me say that, you know I'm about to call somebody's shit out. Like
Yeah.
if that
Yeah,
comes
facts.
out of my mouth,
The spade is the shovel for the
next
shit.
phrase is gonna be something about what they said that ain't true.
Grab
or
that spade.
points to this,
Yeah.
right?
Your
I'm
foot's
like,
in your
hold on,
mouth.
let's call a spade a spade. You be doing this, and this, and talking like this. And that's normally, and again, anytime you hear me say that, shout outs to my granddad. Like that's some shit he used to say all the time. Let me keep it real with you, son. A spade is a spade, and then he would go in like that. And I realized that I don't think people notice this. You're gonna notice this now, and I'm kind of gonna not want to do it anymore.
Nope.
But I'm pointing it
I'm
out.
bad.
I'm pointing it out.
Uh-oh.
Whenever I have to tell a hard truth, I go,
Yeah.
and then I go,
Yeah.
and then I say whatever it is. Like people think it's just like this automatic thing.
I feel like now that you say that, I definitely realize that
yeah,
you do
I
that. I've seen you do
all
that.
the time, right?
Yep.
I'm just like, oh, this is gonna be some bullshit. Anyways,
Yeah.
let me tell you. And then because again, I know if you know my story about Skip, I'm not gonna miss the mark. I miss the mark, you may not be here. I miss the mark, I may never see you again. Let me not miss the mark, right? Like that's how I approach that. So
And you want to know one thing I think I'm starting to realize is that you're so intentional that creating this space is like, it's like a wave cresting, right? Like a wave cresting, it's like white on the tips.
Yeah, I get you.
You're right there, you know, and you can't really see that there's 1,000 other spaces like this in the midst of being created because it's a communal thought, it's a communal feeling, it's communal ethos that is spreading. I think you're just at the forefront of it, so it feels like we're the only one, you know.
Yeah,
and
it's a way
that's
to-
what I'm excited about. Is like there's so many pockets around the world creating spaces. And,
someone has to lead the charge.
yeah.
100%. Yeah.
And I think that's the powerful part about this space is like I feel that it's not just us. You know, I feel that because we're having these conversations, because we're putting out these ripples into the universe that other spaces are cropping up daily.
Yeah, you can
know?
feel the alignment.
Yeah,
That's what you're talking about.
and you're like, this is a microcosm of what should be. I think there's so many microcosms. You know, as we get bigger, there's like a small blip that starts over here, and a small one that starts over here, and they start to grow, and eventually, you know, we are as a community coming together like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just feels good because I feel like that's been my life in a lot of things where I was on the forefront, I was at the crest of the wave, and I just decided to stop surfing, you know, like in Buffalo, I think Zumba could have looked a lot different if I had like fully committed and invested.
Yeah.
I think it wouldn't feel as watered down, as like commercialized in that sector if I had spoke up, you know. As I was there like right when Zumba started, like I know Beto, the founder of Zumba, I've met him so many times,
Fair.
had conversation with him, but what was I saying, you know? Was I saying what I saw, or just you're amazing? It was the second.
No way.
Well, there's it's funny because you refer to it as crest, but okay, so I'm gonna try to use your analogy. Let's say the intentionality of the universe is the moon, and depending on what phase we're in, there are waves or there aren't a lot. Before the phases were happening, I was part of that phase, which is why I look like the first wave. But I was never the first wave. There was waves before me. They just never got the momentum that I have. Like let's put it like that when it comes to the space, right? But the moon has been shifting for years and requesting the same thing of the actual ocean. Hasn't changed. How the ocean manifested, maybe, right? But that's really what you're seeing. And if you look around here, most people in here are like leaders wherever they're at. So that's how you know that it's not meant to just be me, right? Like most people who are in here are being, let's call it discipled, so they can lead in their own respective spaces using the principles. It's not about me. And I'm glad when people want to do those things here, right? I'm all for it. But I realized a long time ago that I'm fulfilling a mission bigger than me, and that's why I can keep doing it. So that is why you feel like there's waves behind our wave, because it has always been the wave. Does that make sense?
It's the wave. That does make sense.
Yeah. So like a lot of it isn't. It's like if we're talking about very large waves, again, I'm the top, but there's a whole wave down the other way, and there were waves before me, and there will be waves after me. Like I'm not the end. I'm hoping that this message is the message that changes people's lives and helps them discover themselves, right? I never looked to open just a gym, right? I didn't even look to create a fitness community. I just looked to create a community. And as you heard me say, I prefer to call them my tribe, a new family. I wanted to create a space where people who came in here could be who they needed to be, who they wanted to be. It's not the same, right? Like a lot of places are just like, come get your workout, good job, here's your meal plan, and peace, right? And we have very, very deep conversations in here because honestly, I don't know how not to. I don't know how not to connect the universe to the rest of the universe. I don't know how.
Me either.
And that's what people are always, when people talk to me, that's exactly what happens. It can be small or it can be very large. But that's literally what I'm doing. I'm connecting your day to my day to everything that's happening and then playing with that, maybe speaking on it, maybe not, but always realizing it's happening, right? And that's the intentionality that you're talking about. So I think a lot of people just realize that. I think that's what it is. So yeah, we're just a wave. I'm not more important than the other waves. It would have been funny if there was a Debbie Wave workshop.
It happened. I took it. It was excellent.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Stay tuned for the next one,
For the-
second Saturday in October. It's going to be
Hey.
Debbie
Something.
We're gonna go back to Debbie Glide since
Glide.
Yeah, since we didn't have anyone show up for that one.
Yeah, you
Get
could have
that
just said since that
advertising
one didn't
on.
land the way I wanted to.
Nah, I'm gonna be honest.
That's still the same thing. That's very honest. All right. Again, I want to make sure, like, as people are coming here, you know, I don't want people to think that they have to be a way to be here, right? I want you to come as you are, but at the same time, realize that, like so many people, because I didn't even realize as many people were watching these Coaches Corners as they are. And when people are watching them, like,
I was watching them.
yeah, they're getting the messaging, which was the whole reason I was like told to start it. I was like, you just want me to sit in front of a camera and talk? Gross. That's literally how it felt to me. Because again, I'm introspective, but I'm also an introvert. I'm also a full-time father of now to be 3. I am a husband. I'm an entrepreneur. Like, this feels gross to me. Like, just sitting in front of a camera talking about connection.
Does it still feel gross, or did it start out feeling gross?
It still feels gross.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
But it doesn't feel gross because I don't think I'm not supposed to do it. It feels gross because my preferred method is to truly connect with people. And I'm not connecting with anyone face to face doing this except for you guys. This has made it easier for sure. But like talking to the camera, I know I'm saying things that people need to hear. But like the time is coming where I won't be able to sit in this chair. I'll be too fucking busy. And like, I don't know what that looks like. I just know like everything that I've experienced in the last year was the culmination of this moment. So every time something new happens, I'm like, all right, we've been working for this for the last year. And that's what makes it so I can do it. Like today, I said it, somebody was like, what do you said? It was already been busy. I was like, day's not even over. There's so much more. Like, it's still coming. It's not done, right? I haven't rested. I've been up since 3:30. Like, what time is it? 12:30. I've been up for 9 hours straight. And I have been moving and taking care of people for the last 7, right? Like, let's go. All right, everybody. I think we're going to close out there because we do got to get out of here because we all have obligations.
And then we got to be back here tonight.
Yeah, it's not even done. All right, so thank you so much for checking in tonight or checking in today and working with us. Again, like, subscribe, hit the notification button so you know what's coming. And of course, find us on any form of social media if you want to reach out, if you have questions, if you want to join our community. Heck, just like a video, man. We are on Instagram and Facebook under Getting It Daily. You can also check us out at www.gettingitdaily.com if you have any questions or concerns. So, thanks so much for joining us, and until next time, this is Coach Linden.
Amy.
Coach Debbie.
That was a delay. We're out.
That was a delay.